مساء الخير مشاهدينا وأهلا وسهلا بكم إلى هذا اللقاء الخاص مع نائب المتحدث باسم الخارجية الأميركية السيد فادنت باتيل. Fadent, thanks for sitting down with us.
Thank you for having me.
We have to start with Ukraine. This warning by the IAEA director few minutes ago when he called for a safe zone around the plant. What are you doing to prevent a disaster there?
We've been very clear from the get-go that any kind of volatile, violent military activity near the ZNPP would be incredibly unsafe. We received the IAEA report earlier this week. Our experts are continuing to review it, but ultimately we share some of their concerns, especially as it relates to the physical damage around the power plant. We continue to believe also that there is only one country in this situation that is infringing unlawfully and unjustly on the territorial integrity and the sovereignty of another, and that is Russia. Russia's unjust and illegal presence in Ukraine, and that's why we continue to support Ukrainian efforts and their call for a demilitarized zone around the nuclear power plant.
But then there are some claims that both parties are endangering the plants. Do you think that Ukrainians are endangering the plants as well?
As I spoke to this earlier this week, any kind of violent or military activity near a nuclear power plant would be incredibly unsafe. And that is why our experts at the Department of Energy and also at the IAEA continue to monitor radiation levels and pay attention to the situation quite closely. But let me reiterate again, there is only one country, and that is Russia, that is in Ukraine unlawfully, illegally, infringing on its territorial integrity, infringing on its sovereignty.
This is a warning for the world, and we saw similar disaster before. Do you think a potential meeting between Secretary Blinken and Lavrov could at least calm the environment here?
I don't have any meetings to predict or preview, but again, we are reiterating our calls that such violent military activities so close to a nuclear power plant are unsafe. And again, we continue to support efforts by the Ukrainians to call for a demilitarized zone around the ZNPP.
I'll move to the filtration camps that you mentioned this week, you and also the press secretary at the White House and also U.S. ambassador to the UN. Can you give us more details?
I don't have any additional details to preview other than what we talked about this week, but what this is another line in a string of examples of Russia's barbaric and dehumanizing efforts in Ukraine. Families are ripped apart, put through these atrocious filtration processes where their privacy is infringed upon. They're sent to far out parts across Europe to be filtrated, to be processed. It's just completely unspeakable. Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield spoke about this directly at the UN Security Council, and so we are continuing to call on our efforts for Russia to stop this barbaric practice, and we're also encouraging our allies and partners around the world to do the same as well.
Russian ambassador to the UN responded to these reports that and the calls by Linda Thomas-Greenfield to send observers there, that you don't allow observers to get into Guantanamo, for example. How do you respond to that? And also he raised the asylum seekers problem that you sent to Mexico by the previous administration.
These situations that that ambassador is referring to are completely apples and oranges. What we're seeing happen in Ukraine and in Russia is we're seeing families ripped apart. We're seeing innocent human lives affected by this barbaric filtration process where this is a effort being led at the highest levels of the Kremlin, where lists are being made, where people are being assessed, put through these very intrusive processes, separated from their homes and families. These situations are totally apples and oranges.
I'll move also to a very concerning issue. It's the Green Deal.
Sure.
The Russian president, at an economic conference, I believe, he mentioned the possibility of restricting the deal, and he said that these grains are not going to developing countries, they are going to European countries. And also Erdogan, your ally, criticized that. First, how do you respond? And Is the deal in danger?
The grain deal has been an important development over the past number of weeks, and we have seen tangible impacts on its implementation. We have seen food, grain, fertilizer, we have seen it reach global markets, get to countries and people who need it. It's been an important step, and our NATO ally Turkey has been played an integral part in that. And we have seen President Putin parrot a number of false claims, specifically about where the grain is going, who it's helping and who it's not. But the fact of the matter is that this grain deal has been an important step in getting food to the world market to address food security, and that's why we continue to believe it's an important benefit. And whether it continues or not, really, it's up to Russia to hold up its end of the bargain.
We saw protests in Europe this week. There was a call yesterday between the President and European and the Japanese and the Canadian leaders. So Secretary Blinken is in Europe also. I believe there are some division inside. We saw that today when they discussed the oil, the price for the Russian oil, the cap that you are calling for. Do you have concerns that the alliance may not stay together?
Absolutely not, and we have seen at every interval of this, as it relates to not just the Russia-Ukraine conflict, but a lot of the challenges that we face as a world, as a planet. We have seen our allies and partners stand with us, whether it be addressing directly Russia's infringing on Ukrainian territory, but also other challenges as well. And you've seen us come together to provide Ukraine the security assistance it needs, impose sanctions on Russia, but also you saw the G7 come together late last week and announce this price cap, which will play an integral role in ensuring that energy products reach global markets so that we ensure supply, but also it's an important step to limit the revenue generated so it does not directly fund Putin's war machine.
But we have the public resentment, and now if also the grain deal is in danger, do you think, for example, Russia is trying to use the same way regarding the grain deal, having a public resentment, a public opposition to what's happening, and using this?
I'm not going to speculate on what Russia is thinking or not. What is important and what we're going to do is we're going to continue to stand in solidarity with our allies and partners, stand in solidarity with our Ukrainian partners, and do everything we can to ensure that Ukraine is not only in the best position to defend itself, but also to ensure that we are doing everything we can to hold Russia accountable. Secretary Blinken is on his way back from Europe today, where he was in Ukraine, where he had the opportunity to meet directly with President Zelensky and Foreign Minister Kuleba, and he had the opportunity to announce our 20th presidential drawdown in ensuring that our Ukrainian partners have the security assistance that they need to defend themselves. So this commitment is enduring.
The Iran deal. I know you cannot say a lot on this topic and you're still negotiating, and you said you don't want to negotiate in public, but last time in the podium you said that there is a set of complexities. So can you give us a little bit of details? Are they, for example, are they asking for more demands?
Well, like I said, I'm certainly not going to negotiate on this in public, but the United States continues to believe that a mutual return to compliance with the JCPOA is not just the best thing in the United States' national security interest. It puts constraints on Iran's nuclear program, and it's an important step for regional stability as well. We've received Iran's response. As I've said previously, it's unfortunate that it does not put us closer to finalizing a deal, but this is a complex set of issues, and we're continuing to work through this process.
In case you were able to close a deal, are you planning to submit it under Iran Nuclear Review Act in the Congress?
We will work through all appropriate congressional mechanisms, but I don't have anything to preview right now from here.
Do you have any comment regarding what they are trying to do in Lebanon, appointing a new judge to oversee the investigation?
We, and along with our partners in the international community, have long said that Lebanon should work through this process in a transparent and effective manner. This is their judicial process, and of course, it's for them to appoint a judge, and that should be able to happen free of intimidation, and they should be able to work through their process.
I know we are running out of time, but I have one more question, or two more questions. Do we have any update on the F-16 to Turkey?
I don't have anything new to preview on that.
Regarding the Houthis, in your statement announcing the visit of Special Envoy Linda King to the region, you expressed concern regarding the steps taken by the Houthis. They are endangering the truce.
Well, I don't have anything additional to preview. I think we'll have more to say after Special Envoy Linda King's travel has concluded. But as we said in the statement, it's something that we continue to be deeply concerned about, and we want there to be a peaceful, expanded solution to this.
Fadent, thanks a lot. Thanks for sitting down with us.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Thank you. مشاهدينا شكرا لكم على المتابعة.